Hi, welcome back to the channel. Recently, Microsoft released some new modern controls for Power Apps Canvas. Some of them are completely new, some of them are just reworked and have a more modern look and feel to it. What I did is I created a new Canvas app and place those modern controls next to the old ones, if they have any old ones, and I want to show it to you now. Hope you like it. If you do so, please give a thumbs up to the video, make sure to subscribe, and have fun. So let's see how the new modern controls look like. First of all, let's take a look where we can find them. So to activate them, because they are still in preview, they're still very new, you have to go to the settings and then into upcoming features. And at the bottom of this list, you have the option to try out the modern controls. And it says here, give your app the latest controls and themes as they are released. When enabled, they will appear at Insert Modern Controls. So that's also where we can find them. So if you go here to the Insert drop-down, we have here our popular input, and here are all the modern controls that Microsoft has provided us. So let's take a look at them. First, I will try with the badge. The badge is like a cycle. And as you can see here on the right-hand side, we have 4 appearances, and we have the content here, which says at the moment no value, but we can write here something. For example, I'm going to write test, and that pops up inside this circle here. And as I said, we have here 4 appearances. This is the field one. Here is another one somewhere, no? But it's invisible now because it has the appearance ghost, which I really like the name, but yeah, it's just invisible. And we have another one which is called outline. As you can see, it's transparent in the middle and has this outline circle. And the last one is called tint, which is like a faded color of the first one. And in all of them, we can have here a value written in the middle and here as well. So it looks like that. I don't know at the moment how we are going to use it in the application, but it's nice to be there. So I'm pretty sure we will have enough scenarios for that. Here on the right hand side, you can see the old version of the new controls. In this case, we did not have a badge. What we could do is, of course, place like an icon or a shape. The icon will be the cycle probably, but you cannot write inside it. But by using the shape, I think we could write inside of them. I'm not sure, to be honest. No, I don't. No, I think the cycle, I take it back. You couldn't write in them. But what we used to do is, if we needed to have like a text inside of them, is that we place a label on top of them. So what we did is we took a text label, of course not in this gigantic font, make it a bit smaller, and place it inside of this circle, align it to the middle, change the color probably to be something that looks good. And what we also did is, or what I also did is I grouped them. So I can move them. Oops, I think I broke it now. Let's go back. So what I did is I grouped them so that I can move them together. And this looks almost as good as this one, but now it's like one component for that, and it's called here badge canvas 2. I don't know why, but this is the new naming for these new icons. Okay, let's move on to the next modern component, and the next one in the list here is the, let's take a look if I have the list correctly, button. As you can see, I have placed here the button, and the new button looks like this. This is the old one, and as you can see, if I click the new one, you see here that the properties, they have very, very few options to customize. I hope that this is just for now, since Microsoft is somehow previewing us this new modern controls, and it's not the final version, I assume, because if you click on the old one, you see you have much more options to customize the view of this button. But out of the box, I really like how this looks like. It's much cleaner. It's I love the fact that it's smaller, but because take a look what happens when you insert a new button. I mean, this is just gigantic. I don't know who thought that standard font number 24 or size 24 will be normal. But anyways, I like that now the new ones are much smaller, much nicer, and then we can decide to make them bigger. So this one is something I did smaller for this case. Okay, let's take a look at the next one, and it's a checkbox. So the checkbox is, well, as I said, just a checkbox looks similar to the one that we had, which was this checkbox component here. And what I see is, again, much less options to customize it. But I like the look and feel, and it's a little bit more modern, cleaner. You see this square here. In the old one looks a lot like Windows XP, and the new one, it has some rounded edges. Let me zoom in a little bit, and it looks more modern. No? And what you can do here is you can decide if it's checked or not. You can change the label. It says now checkbox. Let's write something else. We'll change it here. And you can change the display mode, accessible label, position, and size. As I said, at the moment it's not much, but let's hope that this will be then replacing the old one, and it will inherit, I assume, all these options to customize the properties. Okay, the next one is one of my favorites, and it's a date picker. Take a look how ugly the old date picker looks like. If I click on it, it's first of all, it's just huge, and it's so old-fashioned. And take a look at the new one now. If I click on this, ta-da, we have here on the left-hand side the dates and the calendar, and on the right-hand side we have the months. We have here the year where we can move up and down. Here we can move to month to month. It's so much better, and we have here go to today button. It's so intuitive and modern. I really like it. So yeah, I hope this gets changed as soon as possible, and that it will replace this old date picker here. And next is the dropdown in the list. So the dropdown has also changed a lot in the optics, and I also really like it. So let's take a look here on the left-hand side, because how it works is a little bit different. If you remember, the dropdown used to be like this, and you went in the item section and you connected to a table. You needed to have a table so that you can show it in the dropdown. Now you can connect to a data source. So what I did is, you still have to go to the item section, but it asks you to connect to a data source. So if I remove this, it will ask me to connect to a data source, similar like galleries and forms. It asks you to connect to a data source, and after you've done that, it will create this drop down here, or this collapsible section with some of my fields from my SharePoint list in this case. And what you can also do is on the right hand side, you have here the data source again. The UI here is similar to the galleries. And in the field section, you can click edit, similar like in the forms. So when you connect an edit form or a display form to a data source. And at the moment, it's displaying the title, which is in this SharePoint list, school 1, 2, 3. And what I can do here is I can move the fields, rearrange them, and now it will display, if it works, it will display the city, Berlin, Cologne, Munich, because I moved at the top the city field. I can also remove these fields here. I can also add more fields from my SharePoint list. And what this allows us, which I like, is to not have to go into the item section and switch from table to table. But in this case, we have the option to do it in the fields section. And we can add the fields there, and then we can decide which fields the user is going to see. I really like this option. I think it's more intuitive. It will need some time to get used to, but I think it's an easy, it's an easy change. And what I also see here, which is different, is a required toggle button. We didn't have any required toggle buttons for the in the properties of the components in Power Apps before. So this is also nice to have now. When I turn it on, it doesn't change anything here. So I don't see like a star popping up or something like telling the user that this field is required. So I assume if I put a text label here, Jesus Christ, this is so big now. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Let's take 11 for the size. Okay. So probably if I search for the drop-down canvas 1 that required, does it have any property of that? No. So what I was thinking is maybe if the toggle button is required, is on, then I could somehow display a label which it says that you have to fill out this drop down. Or maybe I'm trying to read from the wrong place. Let's see, where is my drop down here? Maybe it has to be the city. Field name city. This is not what I was expecting. You cannot reach out to the fields. Content language, display mode, hide, selected items, visible with X and Y. Yeah, I hope that this property will come up here, and so that we are able to do some logic based on that. Because just making it required, I don't know how the user is going to understand that this field is required. If you know, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's move to the next page, since we have some more components to see. And we have next the info button. The info button is like an icon, which you can click on it. And on the right hand side, you can see the content that is then displayed after the user has clicked on it. So what I've written here is this is a clickable info button now, no need to hover over icons anymore. Because as you can see here on the right hand side, the old version was that you had to put like an icon there. We already had the info icon, and what we did is we went in a tooltip and said something for the user, no? Test text. And how it worked is that the user had then to hover over that icon to see the information. But now it's a bit more intuitive. The user can click. It has also this color that changes when you hover over it. And after clicking, the text will appear in a nice modern looking text box or bubble box with also with some shadows here. It looks very modern, very nice. And yeah, the icon will stay blue as long as it's clicked. And if you click away, it will then become invisible again, or you can click it again and it will remove it. I really like this new modern control. Next is the link. The link is also a new component or a new modern control. And what you can do is you can change the text here. As you can see, I've renamed it to test link. And what it does is it has a URL which will then direct the user when they click on it. So it has here some display mode options, accessible label. Again, not a lot of properties here to edit, but it does what it should do, and that is redirect the user to the link that you've provided. So if I click on it, it will open a new tab. In this case, I've put my YouTube channel here. What we used to have was no link component, no link control. But what we used to do is we used to place an icon, because we already had this link icon, and we can use then the onSelect property. So onSelect, we can say launch, and then you will put an address, a URL address in there, and that will then open a new tab when the user clicks on this icon. I mean, I wouldn't mind using this one also because I like the icon, but I can also imagine using this new control and putting the icon just next to it so that the user knows that that's a link. It has a lot of opportunities now. Next is the progress bar. The progress bar is a very nice addition to the new controls, or to the controls in Power Apps. And what it does is it provides a visual process or a visual progress information for when you are, for example, filling out multiple forms in different screens, or maybe from an approval process. And yeah, it has here some options, like for example the thickness. You can maybe make it a little bit thinner or thicker, and you can change it to rounded or squared. I like the rounded a little bit better, it looks a bit more modern. And then we have here the indeterminate, which is at the moment off. That means that it has a start and an end, and it will fill out when it ends. If you switch that off, then it's just showing like loading bar. And we can have here some different colors as well. We have the brand color, which is blue, success, green, and then we have warning, it's orange, and error is red, a bit darker. And as for the old version, we didn't have any. And so we had to custom build this with maybe a gallery or maybe some other option, or maybe like a PCF control, a custom build. Next, we have the radio group. The radio group is similar like the radio that we used to have, which was called radio. Now the radio group is very similar to the one we had. It just looks and feels a little bit more modern. It's a bit higher resolution. As you see here, these cycles look much better here than here. And again, I want to emphasize that Microsoft has done some good work on when you place a new component on your screen. So let's test this out. When I place the new radio group, it will. Oh yeah, by the way, this works also similar to galleries and to the new dropdowns, where you connect to a data source, not to a table. So I'm going to connect to that data source again. And as you can see, what I want to tell you, or what I want to show you, is that it has a normal size. When I go and place the older one, you see that this is here made for giants, or I don't know what, because this is I don't know, the standard size is just hilarious. Okay, let me remove this from the screen. And let's take a look what we have here on the right hand side. Not much. Again, we have this familiar gallery or forms UI on the right hand side in the properties, where you select the data source, and then here we can switch again from field to field. So I can go here and go back to the title, and this should swap it to, if it works, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So let's swap it back, and like that. It doesn't want now. Oh, now it works. It's still in preview. So let's do that again. So you see, it doesn't change immediately, right? Maybe if I move it, yeah, if you move it, it will refresh. Maybe Microsoft watches this video and fixes that. And yeah, not much to edit here on the right hand side. Hopefully this will inherit also all these nice properties that we can change and edit from the old version. Last but not least, in this screen we have the spinners. So this is a new component, it's called spinner, and it's that familiar Microsoft spinner that we see many times. And on the right hand side we can see some options here, and the label, let's call this test. And you see that a text pops out on the right hand side. We have here the appearance, we have primary and inverted, which is based on your background, I assume. We have the label position, which is after. We can put that on the left hand side, the top or the bottom, based on your preference. We have some accessibility labels here, and then we have the position, the size. So again, not much. I hope Microsoft will bring in maybe like the speed of this spinner or the colors, of course, and allow us to do some more logic with the properties, of course. But as you can see here, the old ones, we did not have a component for that, so we didn't have a control for the spinners. What we did, or what I used to do, is I usually went and downloaded a GIF from somewhere on the internet and used that as a loading spinner where I manipulated the visible property and made it visible when a process like, for example, a clear collect or maybe a run power automate flow started. So the pop-up, so the spinner was then visible, and I hit the spinner then when the process was over. So now I hope that with this one we don't need to go through that hassle anymore, and yeah, will save us a couple of minutes. Moving on to the last screen, we have 3 components or 3 controls left, and a completely new component is the tab list. As you can see here, this is like a gallery, similar to a gallery, and it works in a horizontal or a vertical mode. In this case here is in a horizontal mode, and I can go here then change the alignment and make it vertical. And this will place the options vertically, make it a bit bigger. And how it works is, again, similar to the drop down and to the radio box and to galleries and so on. You connect to a data source, and you can again change these options here. Let's see if this will work. It will also not work, but if I move it, it will then refresh the fields. Yeah, it's now the same principle all over these new components almost. And yeah, if we see it in real play mode, it works like, yeah, like the gallery, but it has this tab mode or this icon on the front. I think it looks nice, it looks modern. I can imagine a lot of scenarios where we can use it. And as you can see on the right hand side, we did not have a tab list. We were forced to use custom build and also our imagination. And yeah, we utilized like a gallery or a radio box where you made it a little bit prettier. And yeah, that was our tab list. Now we have this one, and I hope some more properties will come here again, similar to the spinner, so that we can do a little bit more with code. Next is the text box. I'm not sure, to be honest, what this does differently than the current text field or text label. So yeah, we will see what this will get for more properties. But it has here options like font size, font weight. We can change these options here as font style, alignment. We can truncate the text, we can wrap it, and then the normal display mode, position and size properties that we see on all these controls. If we compare it to the old one, we have here much more properties that we can change. But again, I hope that the new components will inherit all these properties from the old ones that they will be replacing. And last but not least, we have the text input, which it has now a little bit more modern feel to it, with this white grayed out background. And we can change here the value is, of course, what is written in there. And we can change here the mode from multi-line to single line, similar with the old one as well. And we can make it also required. Display mode, accessible label, position and size. And in the old one, we have a lot more options here for the properties. And what we can also do here, similar to the new one, is this multi-line or single line. And here we have also passwords, which hides then the text that we are writing. That's something that's missing here. But again, I hope this will all be in the new controls very soon. That's it with the new controls. I hope you like them. I am really looking forward to be using them in my new apps that I will be building, and hopefully Microsoft will bring all the properties from the old ones into the new ones as well, because otherwise at this moment they are very nice to look at, but due to the lack of those properties, I don't see them being used that much yet. But really looking forward to the new controls when they are 100% ready to be used. Let me know what you think about them, if you like them, if you're missing anything. And yeah, hope you liked the video. If you did so, please make sure that you give thumbs up and that you subscribe to the channel. And catch you on the next video. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Have a nice time.